Hey everyone, this is the LEGO Ninjago Movie Ice Tank set, and I have a confession. When the pictures of this set were first released, I was smitten by the thing. I developed a definite positive bias in its favor. However, I give you my word right now that I will give this a fair critique, including finding and calling out things that I don't like about it, just like I do with all products that I review. I feel like a working title for this set while it was being developed could have been A Tank for Zane, because that's exactly what it is. It has a striking aesthetic, a striking visual design, striking shaping, which is not groundbreaking. I mean, this kind of pyramid-inspired large spire has been done in sci-fi in decades past in various ways, but it's uncommon and it's brave to create something that's so large and really purely visual, just for that visual impact. And that's what I really respected most about this when I first saw it. Seeing it here in person in 3 dimensions, it hasn't lost any of that impact for me. I think that what is especially important is that they broke up the white areas with the gray. This is a single sticker here, and then these are just tiles for the gray and the red there. Also this red here. They have, definitely some asymmetry to this thing, especially with the placement of the weapon over on the side. We'll get to that in just a minute. The cockpit is interesting. It's also very geometric, although it actually uses rounded pieces around the edges, but a lot of straight lines here. If you want to, you could definitely bring these outer stickers in and the inner stickers out so that they would connect better with those symbols there. This uses the modern X-Wing style of canopy top, and inside, not your usual cockpit. I mean, a couple of control sticks there, kind of simulated console in the middle, stickered console out here, a couple of stickers used for these small round pieces here. But this has no studs for the figure to be attached to, and no little clamping panel for the figure's legs to go around either. This is just a clipped-on piece that has a completely smooth surface, and it works. I didn't even have to remove the quiver from the back of Zane, and in fact, you can put him in there with his bow and arrow. He'll just kind of move off to the side a little bit. But what's extra interesting about this to me is that the underside is clear. You can see right through that. It's using the exact same canopy piece underneath as it does on the top. And that is hinged, so it can actually open up. If you want to, you could use that as an escape, or possibly even a way to get in, because a figure can just slide right down there, or could slide up from underneath. There's a look at that from a lower angle, and see, it just comes up under here and actually kind of hides itself away for the most part, and that's why I just didn't see it previously. The scaling of this is pretty nice for a placement of a cockpit in general. But I have to question this. There's a big wheel there, with a tire on it, and, well, I know what it does. You may know what it does already by seeing how it's connected. That provides traction, but it doesn't look particularly good. I wish that was actually hidden away a little bit better. It's important to have that on a tracked vehicle that has these just plain plastic treads, especially when they're this large. If you didn't have that friction adder device there that's just powering the sprockets, the front smaller sprockets here, then the tracks would tend to want to just skip over and slide around on hard surfaces. So this makes sure that the treads actually work properly. They're using a large Technic motorcycle wheel in the back, which also creates a striking contrast here and interesting angles with just such a small wheel basically here used in the front, such a large one in the back. This is actually built up pretty nicely, and it has grill pieces on the insides of each of these spokes. I like that. I like that quite a bit. And a couple of idler wheels here, which actually aren't doing anything whatsoever. They're just for looks. But in here, things look a little bit plain. I'm good with the differences of colors. I think that's good for texture, but I feel like just a little bit more could have been added in here to make this look nicer. Also, this section back here, it's completely open, and they do have this one exhaust manifold piece or muffler that's sticking out there, but all of this exposed Technic brickwork back here I think could have used just a little bit more cover. I like the overall design of this offset main cannon over here on the side. It is definitely lacking in posability though, and aimability. It doesn't want to be moved at all. I mean, I'm just kind of flexing pieces right there, but it's always going to be facing forward and actually slightly down because it droops just a bit. It has built into it a 6-stud shooter mechanism, and they give you extra studs for that. It's all trans light blue, which goes with the icy theme, and you can fire that off by using a gear on the back here to remotely cause that to turn and shoot these things off, which will promptly get lost all over your house and in the corners of your carpeting, back around your baseboards and such. This is the only major structure piece that is, or assembly, that is asymmetric. The rest of it is pretty much the exact same build from side to side. The back is interesting and much different from what I was kind of picturing in my mind after just seeing the photos. I mean, you could see what was there, but in person it looks very different to me compared to the total kind of mental picture that I had put together with the help of the initial photos. They have this huge chamber back here made with these very large curved pieces that are a section of a cone each, and those are actually geared up to the main track system. So as you move the tank, there are a couple of vanes inside of there that are rotating, and they're spinning up what's supposed to be ice inside of there. It's like an ice chamber, ice turbine. It's all covered up. They just have some cylinder pieces that are rolling around in there, and they're just one by ones, only a handful of them. I mean, you've got an open space in there, but if you make this go really fast, they'll start to kind of get tossed around, but it really doesn't do all that much, and you're really not going to move this that fast. So it kind of works like a rattle. I don't like the sound of it, that's for sure. I feel like that, if anything, may actually take away, so I might just end up removing those pieces altogether. Maybe if it was completely full, or at least half full, that would be interesting. Or if they separated the top and bottom chambers and put maybe twice that many pieces into each of those, that could have been interesting just to see all the stuff really just swirling around. But with so few, it really acts just like a rattle. This little section right here doesn't look so good to me, but these do. I like these little covers towards the back. I think that something to match that level of detail, as little as it is, just that much to cover just this beam right here, would have been a good idea. I like the end, how this is designed, and you can kind of focus these parts if you want to open this up. That's an interesting thing that would allow you to maybe think of 2 different power levels for this. I don't know, just gives you some other possibilities for how to think about it. The only protagonist figure in this set is Zane himself, so he doesn't get any help here. He's going to be trying to help out and save a couple of citizens. In the middle there is Patty Keys, and on the right is Torben. Why does Patty get a second name, or why does Torben not get a second name? I don't know. But it's nice to get more civilians, different types, different looks of civilians in general are always a good thing to be able to get from any kind of Lego set. And I like the prints, something that's not so clean there in the center, some relatively uncommon headgear with the new hat on the right especially. There's Zane's wide smile face, and that's the exact same configuration for that figure that you see in the collectible minifigure series. And there's the face that we saw on the front. I'm going to take this off as well, so you can see just a little bit more of the facial hair print for Torben. On the bad guy side, we get an angler and a generic Shark Army thug, kind of an evil-doing generalist, kind of low-level dude. I love that headpiece for the anglers. That's done in sand blue here, and it's a kind of rubbery piece, but it can kind of stand on its own. You put just an unprinted basic color, black or white or something, minifig headpiece on the inside of that, and then you can just turn it into the actual creature. This one does use the new kind of standard style of armor and air tank piece that has been molded for the LEGO Ninjago Movie. And with that removed, you get to see the rest of the print on the back of that figure. These prints are relatively simple, not a great level of detail. I think they look fine, but just a little bit down from some of the other stuff that we've seen in recent years, just in terms of the quality. But there's his unobstructed face. What's interesting is that because I had such high hopes for this set based on the initial photographs, it made it easier for it to let me down. You know, overdone optimism can lead very easily and very quickly to disappointment. I'm not disappointed about most of it. I mean, the stuff that really struck me in a good way is all there in real life, but I mean, you look at this angle here and the stuff that I don't like is all hidden away. So this space back here that doesn't look so great, similar thing on the other side. When you look at the back of the box where they show you some of the rear views, just the overall angles that they've chosen really do show it in its best possible light, and they don't show you some of the things that are missing, like the ability to angle the weapon, for example, and more coverage around the back, and a more useful or interesting or complete action feature for this whole spinning chamber on the back. So there are some things that are not as good as I would have liked, for sure, but definitely on display and in the hands from most reasonable angles. I still really like to look at the thing, and it was a nice build as well. The price to part ratio on this set is really, really good. The price to volume of stuff ratio is respectable, but not as great as I think the price to part ratio would suggest, because though there are some fairly large pieces, there are also a bunch of small pieces, and that whole structure on the back isn't really useful. You can't use that for storage. There's nothing else that can be detached from it. It's really just for looks. Also, it's mostly hollow back there. So that's it for my look at this set. Thank you for watching. If you spotted anything that looked or sounded wrong, be sure to check the comment section to see if it's already been addressed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to continue working on bringing you more videos, so I'll be talking to you again very soon.